Welcome back to your one-stop shop for captaincy in the FPL 21-22 season. In Game Week 4 we tipped Ronaldo, he got 26 captain points, Salah got 16. In Game Week 5 we tipped Salah, who got 24 captain points whilst Ronaldo got 12. The total across both game weeks was 50 points for the player that we tipped and the other captain got 28. Let's make it a hat-trick in Game Week 6. Ronaldo's up against Aston Villa at Old Trafford with the home advantage. Salah's up against Brentford, he's away from home but it is a decent fixture. He's a midfielder, he gets an extra point for a goal, plus he's got the clean sheet point potential as well. Liverpool's clean sheet odds of 44% and that's the highest this game week. And the last player on the shortlist is Antonio against Leeds away. I know people are considering him, I've included his stats so he can be benchmarked against the other two players. Ronaldo and Salah are in a league of their own this game week for the best captain, so I will just discuss them two players. Let's take a look at the stats from last season and the first 5 game weeks from this season combined. First of all, Ronaldo's numbers from the Italian league last season have been converted with a 0.88 multiplier. That's because the Premier League is roughly 12% more difficult from an attacking perspective. All the players on the shortlist have 3 non-penalty return points per 90 minutes and for the first time ever it's all level. It's a non-penalty expected return points per 90 minutes that splits them. Salah's the highest and Ronaldo's behind by 0.2. All of the players on the shortlist are overperforming their underlying stats. Like I mentioned on all of my videos, it's the expected data that's better at forecasting future points, therefore the winner of the season stats section is Salah. Moving on to set pieces, on the penalties, Ronaldo has got a question mark. It doesn't mean that it's 50-50 though. I'd say he's got around about a 90% chance of taking penalties. I'd say Bruno's about 10% because of his conversion rate based on 45 penalties. It's one of the best in the world. However, Fernandes is more passive, Ronaldo's on penalties for Portugal and he's got more experience. Salah would have had a question mark but for Trent being cleared of his illness. That means Milner's off the pitch, which means Milner's off penalties, so we has got a nice big green tick. As for free kicks and corners, both Ronaldo and Salah are on direct free kicks but not indirect free kicks or corners. Ronaldo is more likely to take a free kick though due to Trent Alexander-Arnold for Liverpool. While Salah's got 2 green ticks, I'd actually put Ronaldo down as the winner for this section. Ronaldo has around about a 10% risk of not taking penalties, but it is for United and they get awarded much more penalties than any other team, so I'd say that compensates for that, and he's a higher chance of taking direct free kicks as well, so it's got to be Ronaldo the winner. Let's take a look at the probability of each player scoring or assisting. This data is based on the assumption that each player plays 90 minutes. We'll review the expected minutes later on in the video. Ronaldo has the highest anytime goal scorer odds with 56% and Salah's behind by 11%. Salah leads on the anytime assist odds and Ronaldo's only behind by just 2%. If we combine them we get the anytime return odds. Ronaldo takes the lead again with 66%, he's ahead of Salah by 7%. One thing to take into consideration is the fact that Ronaldo only gets 80% of the points that Salah gets for a goal, so if you look at the weighted odds, Ronaldo actually loses by 0.2%, he'd be on 44.8% if his anytime goal scorer odds were times by 0.8. Obviously that's just marginal, and then if we did reset the anytime return odds, the weighted goal odds would bring it down to 57% and Salah would win by 2%. Yes, Salah's odds are worth more, but Ronaldo has a better chance of returning, so I'd say there's no outright winner on this one, I'd call it a draw. Moving on to the points projections, Ronaldo's got the highest overall with Fantasy Football Fix, he wins by 1.5, and it's actually the opposite with Fantasy Football Hub, they're tipping Salah as the best captain, he wins by just 0.2. Both companies aren't seeing eye to eye, they're predicting Salah to be 1 point apart and Ronaldo 0.9 points apart. Ronaldo has the highest average of 7.05, that's skewed a lot by the fixed points projection, and Salah's is 6.3. Even though Salah wins on the Fantasy Football Hub points projections, Ronaldo is the winner overall on this section because he's got the highest overall and the highest average. Now let's compare the opposition's defence. A big thanks to FPL Review, who are experts in FPL data models. They helped me convert Brentford's championship numbers from last season with a 1.6 multiplier. Analysing the data, Salah's opponents Brentford have the worst expected goals conceded per 90 minutes figure with 1.4, Ronaldo's opponents Villa are not far behind with 0.1. The Bees also have the worst goals conceded per 90 minutes with 1.4, and the Villains are 0.2 behind on this one. To be fair to Brentford, they have had a decent start in terms of defence to the 21-22 season, but if you look at the fixtures, Liverpool is the first real test, plus it is only 5 games, which is a small sample size to make any conclusions. There's next to nothing in the clean sheet odds. Aston Villa are 2% less likely to keep a clean sheet than Brentford, which is practically the same. Despite Ronaldo having the home advantage, I believe Salah is the winner of this section because Brentford's stats are a bigger advantage than the 2% clean sheet odds, plus there is a downside for Ronaldo playing against Aston Villa's goalkeeper Martinez. Before we come to a conclusion, let's carry out a quick risk assessment. None of the players played midweek in the EFL Cup, so all of them have had around about 1 week's rest, which is an ample amount of recovery time, and that makes the minutes played in the last matches irrelevant. Ronaldo has the highest expected minutes with 88 and Salah trails by just 1 minute. Ronaldo technically wins this section, but there's nothing worth shouting about, so I'd say it's a draw on this section. I tell you what, I've made 40 odd best captain videos and this has been the toughest decision. If you've skipped forward to this bit, I do advise you go back and watch the analysis because you might come to a different conclusion. I'm 51-49 split, but if I had to pick one, it would be Mo Salah. I agree with the Fantasy Football Hub points projections where he edges it slightly. He's got the midfielder scoring advantage with an extra point for a goal and a 44% chance of getting the clean sheet point as well. His underlying stats are better. He's got the best weighted odds, including a slightly higher chance of obtaining an assist. I understand that Brentford's defence have had a decent start to the season, but it is based on a small sample size. They've got worse goals conceded and expected goals conceded per 90 minutes, so I'd say they're easy opponents. Another thing that swings it for me is that I don't like the fact that Ronaldo's playing against Martinez. These are the reasons why I picked Salah. Of course Ronaldo has plenty of upside as well, there's barely anything between them. Don't let me put you off him. If you do want to pick Ronaldo, go for him, he's a solid pick as well. I hope this video has been informative enough to help you make a decision. Thanks for watching. Make sure you comment your pick down below and why you're picking them. Subscribe if you've not already, and I'll see you here again for Game Week 7.